Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Today's video is an update on my third graders curriculum. But this is, halfway through. We're year-round homeschoolers, about halfway through the year. And let me show you where we are. Okay, so he is working in his everything notebook. So, we've gone to a notebooking method, and this just has, I've shown this before, pages for every single subject, and we do every single subject every day, just a little bite, okay? Let me just go through our subjects. Let me try to go through in order. Hair out of my face. My hair was in a bun earlier, and I took it down. I was all crazy. Okay, so we start the day with Bible, and I'm just gonna show you, this is my son's Bible. The kids enjoy the Action Bible, the Action Study Bible. I'm sorry, there's a difference between the Study Bible and the Action Bible, which is kind of more like a big Bible comic. What's different? I did have input. We put the little tabbies in to make it easier to find stuff. But it does still have some illustrations in it. There's like, creation or Garden of Eden, but not nearly as many. There's these little tiny guess sets in there. It's like a little mini pop quiz while they're reading. Standard. It's a real Bible. It is the ESV version. At the end of a book, there's little sections. This one is, what about this? Why does God let bad things happen? At the beginning of a book, there's, information about the book. So it is a real little study Bible. I like the size of it. For my little third grader, their hands are still pretty little. He's still a little guy. I'll link all the resources down below if you want to check them out. And we have been going through Jesus in the Spotlight. So this is the teacher guide, and this is the kids guide or kids book. You could get away. I've actually kind of gone to having him. We were working right in it for a long time, but once I went over to the, everything notebook, because I'm trying to get away from him working in a whole bunch of different resources and having to juggle those and keep those organized. I'm trying to, you could just buy the study guide, in my opinion. And let me show you one. So we've been doing pretty much the work just right into our study, our Bible journal pages. So I don't know. I don't feel like you absolutely have to buy the kids workbook, especially if you have multiple kids that you want to be doing this with. To save money, you could just buy this and just give them a notebook. And there would be little activities that they can't quite do, like crosswords. So I don't know. I don't super duper care that much about it. But the crosswords, it's not really what I'm here for exactly. But we are enjoying this. This is Kay Arthur. It says with Cindy Shearer. And they are all about the inductive method of study. We did a previous one that is how to study your Bible for kids. We did that one first. And it really explicitly teaches the inductive method at a level for kids. So that's what we're on right now. This is Bobby. Sorry, Bob. As soon as we do Bible, I actually have been having him do his McGuffey reading lesson. He's in the third reader. It's going great. We just read these over and over until they are mastered, till he can read them fluently without mistakes, and he can, his reading comprehension is there, that he understands what the moral of the story is. He can recall details. He can answer any comprehension questions I have for him. He reads the lesson. We always make sure he reads the word list first, right? We talk about the word list. We talk about any new words. We use this towards vocabulary building. And I point out if there's any new grammar or punctuation or anything that we hadn't seen before. So, and then we just keep reading it every day and talking about it every day until he's fluent in it. And right now he's not doing the copy work for it because he is doing something else for writing right now, which I'll show you in just a second. So he does this, and then he does gentle grammar. He's on book 1. Love this resource. He really wasn't ready for it until third grade. So level 1 doesn't necessarily mean first grade, I don't think. Sherry Hayes over at Mom Delights adapted new language exercises for primary schools by CC Long into this kind of workbook. So you can work straight in here, but again, I'm having him do it on his everything notebook pages. Let me show you. And we just use this like a textbook. So the writing is a 2-page spread in there. Because this side is checklists at the sentence level, and then later on when they're at the paragraph level, he just checks the first 6 items. But basically, here's how his work for that day for lesson 19. So he'd just be working out of his book. And every once in a while, usually it's just, he just writes the sentence himself. This one he was supposed to answer. I wanted him to tell me if these were statements or questions. So I just made little check boxes, right? So grammar is what he's doing for writing. So he's not doing copy work right now. We're just doing 1 lesson a day. Because he writes in pretty much every subject, as I'll show you. So speaking of writing, I consider spelling part of writing education, right? So he's in McGuffey Spelling Level 3. So this is the Amazon version. You could definitely get this printable, and I designed it to be like worksheets, right? Just to work. I think there's 7 pages like per list with instructions to work through. What I decided to do is I actually ordered all my own books. I printed out the list, and I use it as a bookmark, so I always have whatever lesson we are in. But right now I'm kind of turning this into a key for myself for future children. So when we do our spelling every day, like I'm just writing in the answers myself as we go through. And I don't think you have to do this or anything, it's just what I'm doing. This particular level came with this was like new, so there was a couple examples that came in there. And so, yeah, he gets a lesson every day of spelling. So these are all ones we've done. And his spelling looks like, so here was his last spelling assignment he did. So I just had him do it into the book, which is working out fine for now. Okay, so that's spelling. How about science? He's almost done with his science book. He's been going through astronomy from Apologia. I just have him I think I kind of talked about this in a recent video about using the container method, like for simplifying like your stuff when you're decluttering your house for schoolwork. So I went to using the page, like my notebooking page, like 1 page of notes or notebooking I think is enough at this age for his reading. So I just pre-read and I highlight for him stuff in different colors. So every day he's reading 1 color. So this day, he just was reading this section, I think. Yeah, it was just like 1 little paragraph, not very much. I just make little fill-ins. So he reads and he goes back and fills this in. And then oftentimes there's like something to draw something at the bottom, or sometimes we also like look up stuff and print it off. Like he was learning about Sputnik, so we looked up some pictures of Sputnik 1. Right, this is Sputnik 2. They put that dog, the Russians put that poor dog up into space, named, I think it's Laika. But that was important because it proved that living creatures could go out into space and not be killed. He probably only has 1 to 2 weeks left, and he'll be done with this. And yeah, I'm not sure. I could have him, I've been thinking about having him join younger brother and I, his kindergartner brother, for just like science kit stuff that I bought. Or I might just say like, you've done a whole course. Like, because he started doing this, and he's probably been doing this 6 months or something. You finished your science course, and so you can be done. Like, you don't have to do that extra subject. And so he gets some of his life back. Except that he's still gonna be home. He's still gonna be home. Has to be like entertained in doing something. So sometimes it's like, might as well do the science kit with me. I bought him and his kindergarten brother their own science kits for Christmas. So I may just have him do that and then like notebook on his science experiment. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. Okay, for his reading journal, His reading journal can either cover like more social studies or like literature. And so he is reading Heidi, which is on the RC list, but it's in the third Easy Peasy reader, which I like to get the Easy Peasy readers because there's like multiple books in one, and it's way cheaper than buying, 4 individual books or whatever. So he's reading Heidi out of here, and I really like her little, she has like a lesson, like a reading lesson every day, or the lesson is whatever, half a chapter or something. But she has little questions, like comprehension questions. And like sometimes she has like vocabulary words and gives like the definitions of them. So those are good to read like before they read the chapter, so that when they run into those words, they're like, that's that word that we talked about at the beginning of the lesson. And it just is really quick. It's not super long. It's like the perfect amount of reading for when we're doing all the subjects every day. Because, I don't need him to read for like 40 minutes or something, because that's also a lot to try to remember and try to notebook on. So that's right now, it's like the perfect amount of reading. And then he notebooks. Here's his notebooking pages. So here's an example. So again, the reading journal has like a two-page spread in the notebook. So on this page, he like book title, what he read, the genre, chapter notes. I just wrote first, then, and last. So sometimes we still have to write 3 sentences. So he says first, it says Peter and Heidi are watching the sunset behind the mountain. Then they went home for supper and Heidi learned about flowers and the sun. Last, Heidi and grandfather went to bed for the night. You can see I give him feedback on writing. I don't necessarily make him like rewrite it or anything, but I give him feedback like, that's not how you use that word, or this is, like I told him, he said he had said Heidi and grandfather went to bed for tomorrow. And I like crossed it out and said, it'd be better if you said Heidi and grandfather went to bed for the night. And we kind of talked about like, why does that make more sense? So he's always getting like, if they notebook, if they're doing a little bit of writing for every subject, then they're getting a lot of, mental practice there as well. Okay, and then he drew. He wanted to draw the sunset. That's the Heidi and Peter on the mountain. And that was a beautiful sunset he drew. Oh, and this side, so before we start, we go over those little, if there's any vocab words or anything. So compensation was one. So he wrote compensation. He wrote they have like nice simple definitions. He wrote it in. We actually found it in the reading. And so he wrote the sentence where it was found. It says he wanted a compensation for his fright. And then, of course, that gives us a chance to talk about like that whole concept. And then despondent, feeling gloomy or discouraged. And he wrote the sentence, what a terrible shame, said Heidi quite despondently. And this one was good because it also had, it was dialogue. And so he got to practice putting the quotation marks and like writing that out correctly. So I guess that is like a little baby bit of copy work, isn't it? So the last thing I want to show you is his math curriculum. He just finished level B of Right Start, and we just started him to level C. So this is the lesson book. And then I bought the ebook so I could print these worksheets out as many times as I wanted to, which is great when you have multiple kids. Yeah, these go together. Oftentimes the lesson assigns a worksheet. But I do have in his journal, the graph paper and his everything notebook. So you can see during the lesson portion, like a lot of times we'll like write on here to kind of illustrate what we're talking about in the when we're learning a new concept. So he was introduced to what a Venn diagram was. So we told him, draw 2 circles and then put a big rectangle around it. And then he had him categorize, friends into girl or boy. And then like the dog isn't a girl or a boy, it's a dog. So it was in the rectangle, but not the circles. And this one actually, I didn't have him use the worksheet pages because it was easier, I thought, just to do it in here, and it wasn't necessarily necessary. I can also have him use these, and sometimes I just like staple them straight into the book just so I can keep them all in one place. Everything's like all together. Okay, so there. Everything in the everything notebook. Math. Right now this is his social studies. It's social studies and literature. Heidi, it's a different culture, different time. Science, spelling, grammar, reading, phonics and comprehension, and Bible. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Talk to you later.